It is always with immense joy and excitement that I Zoom before you today as we embark on our annual State of School presentation. My name is Erin Matson. I am the board president, and I will say I'm continually inspired by the strength and unity of our Hudson Montessori community. To begin tonight's presentation, I just wanted to start with a quote, and that is, "There is no power of change greater than a community discovering what it cares about." And in so many ways, it is evident how deeply we care. In some of our recent visioning sessions regarding the school's master plan, there were many themes that echoed the heartbeat of our amazing institution. And those themes were community, home, family, independence, personal engagement, and growth. Within our walls at Hudson Montessori School, we've built more than just a school. We've cultivated a second home, a family where each member is valued, supported, furthered, as Matt would like to say, and truly celebrated for their unique journey. From our curious toddlers to our adventurous and self-sufficient 8th graders, our Montessori ethos is not only about academic excellence, but also the invaluable qualities of self-reliance, curiosity, an intrinsic motivation for learning, and a deep-rooted sense of belonging. For tonight's agenda, it's going to be highlighted with both promise and purpose. We will delve into the exciting initiatives of our master plan, ensuring our school continues to evolve and thrive. We will also take an in-depth look into the financial health of our school, a testament to the stewardship and dedication of both our administration and board. And of course, we'll hear from Matt Virgil, our head of school, who tirelessly leads us forward with pragmatism, wisdom, and vision. And I say tirelessly, but I do believe he confessed on Tuesday night to being ready for bed at approximately 7 p.m. as he put on his parent hat and chaperoned the school ski club. Most importantly, though, tonight really is about you. You, this parent community, are the foundation of our school. Amidst the charts and graphs, the plans and projections, let us not forget the beating heart of our community, and that is truly you. Your presence, your participation, and your unwavering commitments are the true pillar upon which our school stands tall. So let's lean into this evening with open hearts, eager minds, knowing that together there is no challenge too great and no dream too ambitious. As some of you may remember from some of our visioning sessions, our principal architect, Rick Parker, would say, "Feel free to dream big." So thank you for being here, for being an integral part of our Hudson Montessori family. And again, in reference to some of those visioning thoughts as to what HMS means to you and your child, I might even say, even though it's on Zoom, welcome home. So thank you for being here. I am going to, I'm going to ask Matt to move us forward in the presentation. Just for your reference, there is a list of our Hudson Montessori Board of Trustees for the current year. I did ask that all board members put that they are a board member on their picture or on their video. So hopefully you can identify them as you choose. But we do have 12 current board members, all who I am very grateful to have as part of this team and part of the team moving forward. And next, I believe, is our mission statement. Yes. And we do this at every state of school, and that is just reviewing the mission statement that truly guides us as a board and the vision for the school. And that is just the mission of Hudson Montessori is to foster a Montessori educational environment conducive to each child's unique qualities and abilities for the development of social, emotional, and reasoning skills that are essential for a lifetime of independent, creative thinking, and learning in the world community. Next, I'm going to hand it off to our Vice President, Jennifer Ray Tomasek, and she is going to talk with us about the strategic plan, imperatives, and our current master plan that is underway. So Jennifer, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Erin. Just a quick introduction of myself for those of you who don't know me. This is my 21st year associated with the school. My husband and I have had 4 children make their way from Children's House through the middle school, and the last one left this past June. So it's the first year with no children at the school, but a really exciting time to remain on the board. So as you can see here, our strategic imperatives are laid out on this slide. Our strategic plan is really, this important document that is living and breathing, that is adaptable, but at all times, sets the stage for our priorities as a community, as a school, and with, again, the view is on the long term. And so as you can see here, these 4 imperatives that involve sustaining program excellence, investing in passionate and effective faculty, broadening the HMS impact, and ensuring financial stability. These are our priorities. And when we revisited them a year and a half ago and did some fine tuning, it again sort of set us on the path that I think we're at this stage that we're at in terms of some thoughts about a master plan. So if you could, I think, go ahead. Yep, thank you. So again, it was with the realization over the last year or 2 or even more that our current footprint, our buildings and layouts of our programs are just not meeting the needs, and that we're feeling a little limitation, as probably a few of you may have felt. And so we have embarked on this campus master plan. The next slide shows an overview, but we have partnered, as many of you know, because I think a number of you have stepped in on our visioning sessions, at least one of them. But we have partnered Brandstetter Carroll, and namely Rick Parker and one of his colleagues will take the helm here to help bring to life some potential growth and shoring up of our campus and so forth. So it's been the better part of a year to just get started on this process. We have a working committee that has been formulated. It has primarily faculty and staff, but also some parents and board members that will meet monthly. We also, as you may have again been a part of over the last month or so, had a number of visioning sessions. It involved parents and families, but also staff, also our very own students. And then I believe even a meeting that worked to include some alumni as well. And so as we go through the next couple of months, the next several months, sort of formulating ideas and proposals that were made in those visioning sessions. The idea will be that we could that Rick will put together some options for a campus master plan that will involve, some growth and expansion, perhaps some reconfiguration of existing structures and so forth. And so that should arrive late spring of this year. And so I think one more slide there, Matt, please. Yeah, and so one of the things that had come out that I think was poignant for a number of us to just listen to you and listen to each other about, what Hudson Montessori School has meant to our children. And so these were the terms that came up, things like community and curiosity and a creative environment and a safe place and personal engagement and so many more, right? This is just a smattering of some of the characteristics that, many of us have just felt to be near and dear in the education of our children. And then the results from visioning session, if you move to the next slide, please, Matt. Um, some of the results that have come along. Yep, thank you. So and again, this is just a few, things that came from, certainly not an all-encompassing list of some thoughts that came out of these visioning sessions, but certainly some of the hallmarks of our school are what people felt were particularly important that already exists, right? This outdoor access or natural light or the wooded area, the kitchen, the art spaces, and many more. But then also, what are our pains and what are some of the needs that we need to fill? And so things like gathering spaces were some ideas, or a space for the performing arts, or unifying our middle school, athletic fields or facilities. So again, this is not a end all list, or even things that may necessarily actually come to fruition, but as Rick had said, it was really important to dream big here, and really share that information in terms of wishes and hopes for what our campus could look like. So it's an exciting time. So thank you so much for your involvement. For those of you who have already stepped in and been a part of that, we appreciate that. And stay tuned for the next steps and the other opportunities to become more involved. So I think it's my turn to toss to perhaps Lauren and Siobhan. So I'll pass it along.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. Good evening. We understand this is probably a busy time in everyone's day, and it's getting close to Matt's bedtime here. So my name is Lauren McLaren. I have been on the board for 3 years, and I'm currently the treasurer of the school. The finance committee, if we want to flip to the next slide. The finance committee is comprised of 3 board members, myself, Aaron Matson, and Jay Reedy, and also the internal administration at Hudson Montessori School, Matt Virgil, Jackie Burdett, Siobhan Martin, and Clifton Larson Allen as our bookkeeper. The finance committee is responsible for several areas, primarily budget oversight, financial policy oversight, audit review, setting tuition, and strategic financial planning. This goes hand in hand with what Jennifer was just sharing with us on the campus master planning. We're thinking a lot about, the financing element of how we bring all of, these goals and objectives to fruition. Next slide, Matt. So the ultimate goal of the finance committee is to support the initiatives of the school and ensure that our finances are being prudently managed. We're embarking on this exciting chapter with the campus master planning. So we are actively advising the strategic planning committee on the viability of the goals that are being laid out. And we think about our objectives kind of in 4 buckets. The obvious one being the financial goals. So, ensuring, enhancing the fundraising efforts, managing tuition to cover personnel expenses, and then laying out the multi-year strategic plan. Also, we think actively about our sustainability initiatives. How do we expand our outreach and establish reserve funds? And then, they're all important, but important aspect is, making sure that we continue to invest in our excellence. And that is done by investing in the people who are teaching our children every day, making sure that they are, have access to professional development, good compensation packages. And then ultimately, measuring our success. How are we doing compared to, what we've laid out to do? So, one of the investments that the school has made this year is we brought on a director of finance. Siobhan Martin joined the administrative team over the summer, and we're so grateful to have her on the team. Siobhan has many talents. She has a background in finance, but she also has, worked primarily with schools in her career. So not only does she provide insight on the finances, but she can also, give input on, comparatively what other schools are doing. So she has been instrumental in our long-term planning and modeling, and she's actively involved in the day-to-day financial management of the school. So I'm going to turn it over to her to provide a high-level overview of the school's financial position.
Thank you, Lauren, for that warm introduction. I just wanted to thank the parents again for being here. I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of this opportunity and this wonderful team. So let's jump into our finances. On our revenue side, I'm just going to kind of highlight where do we get all of our funding from. So the first of it is going to be our core tuition, right? That kind of is the backbone of our school's financial stability. Moving on from there is going to be our program revenue. We do receive quite a bit of money from summer programs or summer tuition, clubs, band fees. All of those would be falling into our program revenue. And then the last is our fundraising revenue. Our fundraising team works tirelessly to really support the key school programs. And beyond traditional donations, our fundraising efforts will also include any strategic partnerships, events, our community contributions through SGO. So that's kind of what makes up our core revenue. Moving over to our expenses. So on our expense side, again, staying with those top three, what are the biggest expenses that we have? Like any company across anywhere, our biggest expense is going to be personnel. So we really invest a lot into our personnel. A significant portion of our budget is allocated to just competitive salaries to attract and retain our top tier educators. And then we prioritize, like Lauren was just mentioning, our professional development, really making sure that our staff can remain forefront on innovative teaching practices. The next thing that is the most costly when it comes to running Hudson is our facilities. So our budget allocates funds for capital expenditure projects that are really just aimed at facility upgrades, renovations, and maintenance. So for example, we did a lot of work on our roofing this summer. We were able to work on our concrete. We added drinking fountains or improved some of our drinking fountains. We replaced our exterior doors, things of that nature. Then the other part of our facilities is going to be on that safety and security side. So we also did upgrade quite a few of our safety and security systems, such as like our phone system. We actually just got a new phone system throughout the school. We also updated our cameras for our front doors. So now we can see when people are coming through the door to kind of let them through. The third kind of big bucket that we spend our funds on are going to be our direct student expenses, as they should be. So these are going to be all of our expenses that go directly to our students. So this is going to be any extracurricular activities of field trips, special events, classroom budgets, working with contractors that come in to help with like middle school expressions. So that's going to be where our core expenses are. Okay. Lauren, did you have anything that you would like to add?
I don't think so. I appreciate you giving that overview. If anyone has questions, happy to answer at the end of tonight's presentation. I think kind of summarizing what Siobhan said, I can say that the school is in a stable financial position. While we don't have a sizable endowment to draw from, the school does, has been operating within its budgeted revenue. I do think it's important, though, to point out that our tuition does not cover the entire cost to educate a child. It is, up to the administration to, supplement the difference through state funding, grants, and fundraising to make up the difference. But beginning this year, Hudson Montessori School is now qualified for as an SGO, or a scholarship granting organization. Scholarship granting organization is a nonprofit 501c3 that receives contributions from donors to provide educational grants to eligible students in Ohio. The SGO can be used to, help make a HMS education available to those who may struggle to afford the education. So families can claim this credit when they file their income tax returns. The credit is $750 for an individual filer and about $1,500 for married couples. This credit, you can make the donation up until the filing deadline on 4/15. So I'd really encourage, any of our constituents that pay Ohio state tax to consider this program. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I know Matt's talked a lot about it, and Tim McQuate. So if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's a great way to funnel otherwise tax dollars back into Hudson Montessori School. The next thing I wanted to talk about was our tuition setting process. So there's really no manual on this topic. The Finance Committee spends a significant amount of time each year analyzing different variables. Ultimately, our goal is to make sure we're able to provide the best education possible for students and invest in our teachers who provide this education. We consider both internal and external variables, internal being the cost to educate, how much is our personnel, and the external looking at, independent school marketplace. So we thought it would be interesting to provide some of the work that the financial team pulled together this year on the marketplace. The following couple of slides show how we compare to independent schools in the area. And across the board on each level, Children's House through middle school, we tend to fall in the lower quartile to comparable, or what we feel is comparable schools in the area. So lastly, our last slide is, our 2024-2025 tuition. Again, as a finance committee, we want to ensure the financial stability. So as we educate our children, and we want to make sure that we're able to do this for the next 60 years and beyond. The tuition here, we have two brackets, one for, half-day students, which really is only the Young Children's Community and Children's House. Tuition for 2024-2025 will be $13,500. For a 5-day all day, it's $17,000. Lower and upper elementary, the tuition is set at $18,000. And for the middle school, the tuition's set at $21,000. Contracts should be going out here soon, which it will reflect these rates. So we appreciate your time and your support of the school. And again, we're happy to answer any questions you have on the financials at the end of tonight's presentation.
Lauren, I'll pick up from here. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Okay, great. Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Matt Virgil. I'm the head of the school, and a couple things that I maybe just want to amplify that were stated earlier. One, thank you for those who participated in the campus master planning project. Reiterate that either I or Tim McQuate are available to answer any questions about the scholarship granting organization contribution. We're happy to walk you through it and understand why it's a way to redirect your Ohio tax dollars to HMS and give you a dollar-for-dollar tax credit. And then lastly, I wanted to remind you and make sure that you get your RSVPs in for our Derby After Dark coming up in the middle of March. We're getting a lot of exciting gifts and things to bid on for that. And we look forward to just gathering together as a community in March for that. So thank you for attending that. I have a few additional items that I wanted to talk about from a head of school perspective. And I think they they underscore positive things that are going on at our school. And so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, even though it doesn't necessarily sound exciting, but it is very instrumental for us to be thinking about how we continuously improve our school, is our accreditation process. For those of you who were enrolled last year, you may have recalled that we were going through a period where we were doing what's called a self-study, and we were doing a self-study for a group called the Independent Schools Association of the Central States. We are a member of that group. We call that ISACS. And ISACS has a continuous 7-year accreditation process. And the self-study is probably, of the 7 years, is most likely the most intense because it asks our community to assess nearly, or I think every aspect of our school's operations and community and our curriculum. And we had that opportunity last year. It was led by Rachel Hamilton, who is a young children's community lead teacher. And it was an opportunity for us to celebrate and identify strengths in those areas and also areas that it can be improved. And so we did that last year. And this year, we actually went before the ISAC's Accreditation Review Committee for reaccreditation. And I just found out earlier this week that our school has been reaccredited, which is positive. And one thing that through that process is they asked a visiting team of ISAC's professionals from other schools to come on site and give us feedback. And that feedback has now been provided to us, and it underscores what our self-study found last year in terms of strengths of our school, as well as opportunities to improve. And I didn't want to go through too many, but I did want to highlight one area that we are looking at intently here at Hudson Montessori School for school improvement. And that talks about making sure that we are vertically aligned curricularly. That sounds a little bit jargony, but it just we work with children from now infancy through 8th grade. So that's, those students are 13, 14 years old when they graduate. So it's important that we make sure that our program makes sense vertically as students move through it. And this was something that we identified as an opportunity that we needed to improve on. And we certainly won't accomplish this goal this year, but we have taken great strides to look at trying to identify areas where we do it well and where it might need to improve. And so how did we do that? Through the leadership on the program side of Jackie Hirsch and Huck Ford. They've been looking at transitions between all levels, YCC to Children's House to lower elementary to upper elementary, and upper elementary to middle school. Additionally, we have selected one area of our curriculum, and we are meeting monthly to document what it looks like at each level so we can identify gaps or potentially overlaps. And that subject is in writing. So by the end of the year, we will have the opportunity to look at our writing continuum from the earliest age, from our YCC program, all the way through middle school. And we'll add those subjects as we move forward throughout the years. And then lastly, we heard from teachers through the self-study that obviously they're focused most on their level, but they said it would be great to get into other classrooms and observe. That's a key tenet of Montessori practice, observe what's going on. And so Jackie and Huck have worked diligently to create release time for teachers to step out of their classrooms and go into other classrooms at different levels, or in some cases at their own level, to observe other professionals teaching to kind of inform that effort for us to be vertically curricularly aligned. So this is just an example of one major takeaway from the self-study and this accreditation process. Again, I'm proud that we are reaccredited. I think I'm more proud of the work that came out of the process that will just lay out things that will make us stronger as we move through the accreditation cycle going forward. I also wanted to just note that we have had in terms of thinking things positively, we have had growth in our school. And I suppose this is sort of echoing what Aaron led with and what Jennifer talked about in terms of our campus master planning project. We have been fortunate that our community continues to grow. And I put this slide together to just show you over the last 5 years, growth in our enrollment. And I don't want to go through it bit by bit, but you can see that right now we're at 257 students, and many levels we consider that to be full. So that's a positive step for our school, that we are bringing an HMS education to as many students as possible that we can at all those levels. I did also want to note an opportunity for you as parents that I think this is probably dovetailing a bit off of what Lauren was talking about in terms of tuition. And that is to say that in next year that Hudson Montessori School will begin to accept Ed Choice expansion scholarships. And so just broadly speaking, an Ed Choice, the Ed Choice program comes from the state of Ohio. In the past, it's been focused on pockets of students in the state of Ohio, most of whom were from failing, what would be deemed failing school districts. But last year, the Ohio State Legislature and the governor expanded that program to now include every student who goes to a private school that accepts Ed Choice expansion scholarship. It qualifies for some scholarship. It's based on a family's adjusted gross income, and we will be working to accept your applications and process those to receive an Ed Choice scholarship. So one thing that I will note is that we are early in the process of administratively getting this up and running. And so we will be communicating a timeline with more information on how you can avail yourself of this opportunity and how we can assist you doing that. I would anticipate that will be at least a few to several weeks down the road. That doesn't put you or us behind anything. We'll be ready to go for the next school year. And the last thing that I want to say about this is this was a very thoughtful conversation that I engaged the board with if we wanted to do that. And what I would communicate is that Hudson Montessori School, we will reevaluate this decision to accept Ed Choice expansion scholarships on an annual basis. And we'll weigh that both with internally, what does it do, what are the factors to administer it, but also the external factors that the state of Ohio might place on qualifying for a Ed Choice expansion. We have reviewed those and we feel comfortable with those now, and we will continue to do that on an annual basis. Jennifer spoke about the strategic imperatives that talk about program excellence, as well as investing in passionate and effective faculty. And I wanted to highlight a few things that we're doing there because we know that all of our employees, teachers, administrators, and staff work together to impact the children every day. And so I wanted to highlight a few things there. One is that we are grateful and benefit from administrative support to support classroom teachers. And we have that through Jackie Hirsch, who serves as our Director of Community and Learning, as well as Huck Ford, who is our Director of the Middle School. And I've spoke about things that they're driving out in terms of ensuring that we meet our mission and are improving our curriculum. We also think of exciting professional development opportunities. I wanted to just highlight a few. In March, we will be able to, through that budget that the Finance Committee helps us manage, we will be able to send one teacher from each division to the American Montessori Society Conference in March. And that will allow us to make sure that we're remaining apprised of best practices in Montessori education and bring it back to the others to share. Additionally, Hudson Montessori School is excited and able to sponsor Abby Wexler this year as she works to gain certification in gifted education from the University of Cincinnati. And that will obviously impact or help Abby grow, but it will help others grow as we support and furthering children in that area. And then lastly, we were able to also sponsor Hannah Irvine, who has been recently named as an American Montessori Society Emerging Leader Fellow, and we'll be excited to see how she is able to grow her craft through that program. And I just thought of another one that I didn't write down earlier, and that is that we were also able to sponsor and allow Dawn Fennicle to attend that conference in March and at the American Montessori Society as a presenter. So all of these things speak to the efforts that we put forth to support teachers in their professional development, as well as just the wonderful things that the teachers do beyond what's going on in their classroom. I also wanted to make sure that I note that as we're always looking towards the future, we're thinking about how we are making opportunities for future Montessori teachers, trained Montessori teachers. That comes through our budget. It also comes through gifts through the Molly Eisant White Teacher Education Fund. We've had major gifts to that in the last several years that have helped us sponsor many teachers to gain Montessori certification. Currently, we have Katie Torres Welch, who's in the process of gaining certification at the young children's community level. Also, Kayla DeRico completed her Children's House certification this past summer through sponsorship by the school. Elizabeth Warga, who's in that picture right there, working with Celeste, is also working through her training will be complete this summer and gain elementary certification, as well as Lisa McGinnis in the upper elementary program. So all of these things point to the investments that we continue to make in our teachers that work with your children every day. I think I wanted to close with a quote that Jackie and Huck brought to the faculty in a faculty meeting last Wednesday. And it's a quote by Maria Montessori, and it was very nice. Laura White led us through a wonderful discussion about the respect that we help children develop and that we give to children, and how we help them develop attributes of being kind to each other and respectful of each other and their environment. And I think, we've shown you pie graphs and, cool conferences and trainings. And I think at the end of the day, it was really just striking how intent your children's teachers are at teaching these fundamental qualities that make us relate to each other and be civil and encouraging and compassionate to each other. And it was something that guides them every day as they come into the school. And so it's what makes it, even though I go to bed apparently too early, but what lets me get up every morning and be extremely excited to go to Hudson Montessori, because I'm a parent as well, and I just know how lucky I am to both work at Hudson Montessori School and to be a parent there. So I am going to turn things over to Michelle Smith for some closing comments before we have a chance for questions and conversation.
Thanks, Matt. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Smith. I have two older children who attended Hudson Montessori. They're in high school and college now, and we have two boys who are third levels, one in each of the lower L classrooms. So we're kind of all over the place. But HMS has been a special place for our family, as it is for many of your families. We've been here for over 10 years now, and I've been honored to serve on the board for a number of years. So again, I just want to really wholeheartedly thank everybody for taking time out of your evening. I know it's a lot between trying to squeeze in, between work and school and then dinner and bedtime. We appreciate everybody taking the time. And we also appreciate, again, I want to echo, thank you for participating in the strategic planning visioning sessions that we had. As the board, our role in the school is really to look at things from a strategic standpoint, whereas Matt's role is more operational. So having people participate in those visioning sessions with us was fantastic because, again, we love to have that input on the future of the school, because we're not just thinking about today's students, right? We're thinking about those students, 5, 10, 15, 50 years from now. So thank you again for participating in that. And again, to echo that idea of community, that was one of the things that really comes up every time we talk about Hudson Montessori School is, we asked the question of the board earlier in the year, what does Hudson Montessori School mean to you? And the overwhelming answer was community. When you think about a school, you think about a school building and you think about, teachers and students, but we are so fortunate here at Hudson Montessori that it's not just that, right? It's families coming together, parents and grandparents, talented faculty and staff that every day are here supporting all of our students. And you think, oh gosh, every school should be like that, but they're not. We have a really, really special thing here at Hudson Montessori. And again, we're just so grateful that everybody is a part of it and everybody contributes. So, you can feel the energy here when you're at school, and it's everything from attending, sporting events to fall festival. One of the things that came up in the visioning session that I attended was how important, our kitchen is to the school, right? Because, you have something like cultural cooking where you have a few elementary students with a couple of parents who are cooking for a class. But the next thing you know, there's more people wandering through, and the older students come through and they're saying, gosh, I remember when I did that. And are so excited to share those memories with the students that are cooking today. And then you have your children's house kids come in and with these big eyes, like, wow, look what the big kids are doing. And I can't wait until I get to do that too. And it really is just everybody coming together as a community. And we're so, so fortunate to have that here. So, before we wrap up the evening, I just want to thank everybody again for being here. Just a quick plug for the board. We're always looking for people who are willing to share their time and help advise the school in the way that we do. So if you're interested in that, please reach out. Again, we'd love to see you all at the upcoming casino night on March 16th. So, think about as you're thinking about the community, attending some of these community events. So we'll open it up for questions now. You can either, I believe, put things into the chat, or you can reach out to Dara and she can call on you. And also, too, we'll be sending out a summary of tonight's event. So if there's questions that you have later on, don't hesitate to reach out. The board is always here and we're always open to your questions. So thank you again for coming tonight, and we'll turn it over for questions.
Thanks to everyone. And as Michelle said, if you want to just take yourself off of mute and ask a question, put your little hand up. We have a question from CJ's iPhone. And Dara, I'll let you direct.
Hi, my name is AJ and I have a son in children's house. I had this question asked during the strategic planning meeting, but I'm going to ask that in this more suitable situation, I guess. So my question is, I'm very curious to know what was the board's considerations when considering the SGO program as the pros and cons of going into the program, and then what would be the expected impact, financial and otherwise, on the school? Thank you.
Matt, this seems like your bailiwick.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just wondering if he's asking about, he said SGO, but I'm wondering if he's asking about Ed Choice. But I don't.
I'm asking about the SGO.
SGO, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I would say that we think of the SGO as really in a way a very positive development from the state of Ohio that lets us, as Ohio taxpayers, redirect money to qualified organizations that can grant scholarships, and Hudson Montessori is one of those. And so, this is our first year doing it. We've raised, Tim stopped by my office before I left today and said we're just shy of $30,000 and that we've had in donations. And, I will say from a budget perspective, we have been conservative in terms of thinking what the impact can be next year, because I think that's just our posture from a budgeting perspective, is that we, with something new like this, we tend to be conservative. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity for us to educate people that this is in many ways no money out of people's pocket. It is just redirecting Ohio taxes. And we do have, Siobhan's pie chart showed tuition, and there is gross tuition and there's net tuition in terms of we do have families that do, you know, that don't pay full tuition because they can't, that they aren't able to. And this is a program that lets us help make that a opportunity easier for the school to provide as well as families. So I think it has tremendous upside for the school personally and professionally. I think it's great.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have a question in the chat. Is there a place where we can read the strategic plan that Jennifer outlines the 4 tenets of earlier? I think this actually may be a Matt question because it has to do with where the strategic plan is.
Yeah, it's on the website. So it's under About Us. You can bump into the strategic, you will see that there's a tab for the strategic plan, and you can click on it and link and see that.